Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and of course, welcome on back to another Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes video. Today we're going to be discussing something quite cool indeed, and that is the 40 power discs that are set to come out with the release of the game. Specifically, all the Marvel power discs. There are more power discs rumored to be coming out, I believe 40 more, but those are going to be obviously revolving around all the Disney characters that are going to be in the game. So, with all that being said, there are 6 different categories of discs. There are team-up discs, which are obviously kind of like friendly units that you can summon in to help you out. There are events, there are costumes for your characters, there are customization pieces for your actual toy boxes and worlds, and then of course, there are also toys that you can go ahead and use like vehicles and things like that. However, before we get to the discs, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to the one and only VinylmationKingdom.com, a very, very cool website if you want to keep up with Vinylmation information and also Disney Infinity 2.0 goodies, because they did a really great job of accumulating the discs and such. And I wanted to make a video discussing the discs, but then more importantly, also asking you guys whether or not you agree with all the discs that have been revealed, and of course also whether or not you would like to see more revealed. So with all that being said, let's begin with the team-up discs. There are 5 of these, which is pretty handy indeed. So these are characters that we're not going to see as playable per se, like actual figurines, or at least at the time of this recording we don't. However, they are in the game as helpers. So, with that being said, let's get rocking and rolling. First up, we've got the Winter Soldier, which is a very, very good choice. Of course, after the film, makes perfect sense that he's in there. Iron Patriot, I guess to go off of the popularity in the Iron Man 3 film for this design. Then we have the White Tiger Marvel team-up, which is, I think is supposed to be a character that was in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that just came out recently, or not recently, I think it was... I'm not sure how long ago, actually, but it's obviously to play off that particular playset. Then we've got Yondu, who is a very, very cool character. Of course, he'll be played by Michael Rooker in the Guardian, or has been played by Michael Rooker, I should say, in the Guardians of the Galaxy film. And, of course, then we finally have the Ant-Man, which is very, very cool that they actually released a Marvel team-up disc for this particular character. Very, very neat in DDO. So, with that being said, we then move on to the events. There are actually only 3 different event tokens available. There will be the Shield Helicarrier Missile Strike, the Doctor Strange's Mystic Power, which sounds very intriguing. So it's kind of interesting how many unique characters we're getting here through the power discs. Like, kind of, those characters have a presence in the game through these power discs, which is very, very cool indeed. And then finally, probably the coolest of the discs, and this will be a very, very difficult disc to get. It's a rare disc, just like the Yondu disc is. If you see when they're red on the outer shell, that means they're rare. And this one is the Infinity Gauntlet, which looks really, really cool. A very cool disc indeed. So then we move on to the costumes. We move on to the costume side of things, which is something that I was very, very much excited for. I was hoping that we would get a lot more of these. Honestly, I would have traded in most of the customization discs for more costumes, because I think it would have been really cooler to get a nicer variety of costumes for our heroes and heroines in the game. So then we kick things off with the Gamma Rays costume, which I think is supposed to be Hulk becoming gray, I think. That's what, from what I recall, I think that's going to be the Gray Hulk variation. Then there's the Stark Arc Reactor costume, which is pretty cool indeed. The Sentinel of Liberty costume, which is obviously Captain America with the differently shaped shield and such, which is pretty neato indeed. Then we actually get a costume for Iron Fist, which is pretty awesome, and he's going to have not only his green and yellow outfit, but through this power disc, you'll be able to go ahead and put on the very, very cool white and yellow costume, which I actually prefer, so I'm very, very happy to see that in the game. Then we move on to something a lot of Spidey fans will be very, very happy about, and that is the Alien Symbiote costume, aka the Black Symbiote Spider-Man. So that is very cool. Definitely not complaining about that. And then something that was very surprising to me. I really did not expect that, and that was a space armor for Gamora. So that was very, very cool. They have one female character, as you can see, getting a costume, and it's really cool that it was Gamora. Definitely an interesting choice there, and I'm very happy to see that. However, again, I think there should have been more costumes. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Let me know, however, in the comment section below. Now we move on, of course, to the customization side of things. So these are power discs that basically allow you to customize your world. If you remember, the power discs, let's say, change the sky or change the colorization of the world or kind of add elements or effects to the world. This is basically what this is all about. So we begin with the World War Hulk sky, which allows you to change the sky dome of your toy box, which is pretty neat. I actually wouldn't complain about that because it's probably going to have a really nice view to it because, well, if you haven't read the World War Hulk comic book, it's really, really good, and it's got some really fantastic elements to it in terms of the scenery because it's set on a different planet in space, and I'm not going to go ahead and get into that too heavily because I don't want to be spoiling things, but very, very cool to see that. Then, actually, we're also going to get a texture pack for the World War Hulk, so that is really cool. So you get two different World War Hulk power discs here, so you get, of course, the sky and the texture, so you can kind of mix those two to try to recreate the World War Hulk storyline. Then after that, we've got the view from the suit sky dome, which is basically, obviously, if you've seen it, it's kind of like, you know how in the movies when you can see Tony Stark and kind of how he sees things from the suit? So this is the idea behind this power disc, is just to make things look like as they do for Tony Stark while he is inside the suit. Next up after that, we also get the Stark Tech texture pack, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure what that's going to actually entail. I'm assuming it's going to be like really futuristic buildings and such, and just things looking pretty cool in that sense, but I guess only time will tell in terms of what exactly it will be. Next up after that, we move on to the Spider Sky and Spider Streets. So similarly to Iron Man and Hulk, as you can see, usually you'll get one power disc to maneuver and change the sky dome, and then another power disc to change the textures of your toy box as well to kind of give you a complete look. And that, of course, goes onwards and forwards to the next power disc, which is actually Groot's View, which allows us to have a Groot's View from the sky dome perspective, and then also Groot's Roots, which is going to be the texture part of the power disc. So very, very cool there. Interestingly enough, how the Guardians of the Galaxy are getting a lot of attention, of course, now that the Guardians of the Galaxy is a very, very big success, and both from a critical standpoint and from the fact that it's made a lot of money already, it definitely makes sense as to why they went ahead and chosen or marketing a lot of these Guardians of the Galaxy elements. But it was definitely a bit of a risk, because at the time when they were picking these discs, I'm sure they weren't 100% certain that Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be popular and huge. So without further ado, let's get rock and rolling to the last few discs in the customization category. So we've got The Rip and Star-Lord's Galaxy. So we've got, again, a sky dome and a texture pack to revolve around Mr. Star-Lord himself. So very, very cool indeed. I think that this is probably the one that I'm most excited for, except for the World War Hulk discs. But again, you'll notice there are a little too many of these. In my personal opinion, I think there are a little too many. And then apparently there's going to be also a Dinosaur World texture pack and Sky Dome as well. So that's going to be, I'm not sure what that refers to. I think that's supposed to be, isn't that Magneto's place or no? I don't remember. Maybe it's not even Marvel. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. So again, very, very cool there, but in my opinion, just a little too many customization discs. I think they could have eliminated something like maybe the Iron Man discs or the Spider-Man discs or maybe even Groot's discs. I don't know for sure because I'm a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy now, so I kind of want to get as much of that as possible, but I think they could have eliminated those four and then maybe added some really, really cool costumes, like additional costumes for Iron Man, for Thor, for Hulk, for Captain, for any of those characters, or even any of the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. However, we are not done yet, because now we move on to the Toys power discs, which are, of course, vehicles and kind of different equipment pieces that you can summon in to help you venture through the world of Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel superheroes. So we're going to go ahead and blast through these real quick. We've got Falcon's Wings, which is really, really cool. Then we've got the Avenge Jet, which is obviously kind of supposed to be, I guess, promoted with Hawkeye, as you can see from the power disc. Then we have the Shield Containment Truck, which works with Mr. Nick Fury, or that's kind of what it revolves around. But it's really cool how it reminds me of the scene from the Winter Soldier movie. For those of you that's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Next up after that, we get the Hydra Motorcycle, which actually looks really cool. Even though it's a bad guy vehicle, it looks really, really neat. Then we've got Lola. I'm sure Mr. Phil Coulson is going to be very, very happy to see that in there. Jack-O-Lantern's Glider. Really neat. Kind of a nice, pleasant surprise there. Then we've got the Spider Buggy, the Spider Glider, the Spider Copter, and the Spider Cycle, which will be rare. However, How many spider things do we need? I don't know. In my personal opinion, again, just like I said with the customization, I think they could have probably taken out 1 or 2 of these. I don't know if we needed all 4 of these spider vehicles. I don't know. Again, that's my opinion. So if you disagree with me, that's completely fine. If you agree with me, that's completely fine and great as well. So just let me know down in the comment section below if you agree or disagree. And of course, if you disagree or agree, let me know which other vehicles you would like to see replace some of the ones that I just mentioned. However, we're not done yet. There's still a couple more to go. So we've got Sleipnir, which I believe that's how you pronounce it, which is the horse that belongs to Odin, I think. So that was a really pleasant surprise. I was really happy to see that. Then we've got Black Panther's energy daggers, which sounds very promising. Very cool that Black Panther gets a little bit of love in the game. Very, very neat indeed. And speaking of getting a little bit of love, Mr. Doctor Strange is also getting another power disc, additional to the other one that we just mentioned before, which is going to be the event disc. He also gets the Doctor Strange's Cloak of Levitation, which sounds very promising. I'm assuming maybe once you wear it, you can levitate throughout the city. I know that that's a pretty obvious assumption because it's in the name, but I'm assuming that's what it's going to do. Sounds really promising though. Looking forward to actually putting it to a good use. And then finally, the rare power disc for the toys, was it the toys? Yeah, for the toys category, one of the rare ones. Of course, there's also the Spider Cycle, but then we have this one right here, which is Ghost Rider's Chain, which is really, really neat indeed. So, with all that being said, there you guys have it. That is the entire 40 power disc list of the power discs that are going to be coming out with the Marvel superhero side of things. So there are, of course, going to be an additional 40 discs coming out with the Disney side of things. So if you're not satisfied by all these power discs that are related to the Marvel superhero side of things, you can obviously stay tuned because there are going to be 40 additional power discs catered towards more of the Disney side of things of the game, which is really cool. So it balances a nice variety, and I think that that's really, really great that they went ahead and actually balanced those two factors. So, with all that being said, as I always say, thank you guys so very much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button if you guys enjoyed this video. Most importantly, though, don't forget to let me know down in the comment section below if you agree with this listing, with this collection of course, power discs. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you like to see certain things replaced? And what would you like those things to be replaced with? So, of course, as I always say, thank you guys so very much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, share the videos with your family and friends, favorite the videos as well, and I will see you later, alligators. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks all for watching, and have a fan-flippertastic day.